Okay, today we're going to talk about angles. So it should say here at the end of today's lesson, I can make a quick estimate of angles by using a clock as a reference point. So if we think about a clock, it just looks like this. We can figure out different angles on a clock. So every time we move from one number to the next on the clock, we're moving 30 degrees. Which means I can measure different angles by looking at this clock. Let's say I wanted it, I have an arm, I want it to be 3 o'clock. I can look at this angle right here and I can tell you, oh, this is a 90-degree angle because I want 30, 60, 90 degrees. So in here, I'm 90 degrees. But let's say this is where I started, but now it started at 3:15, but now it's 3:40. So I want to know what my angle is from 3:15 to 3:40. So what I can do is I can take my clock here and I can use this to start checking what the angle would be. So I know from here to here is 30, 60, 90, 120, 150 degrees. My angle starting here, going to here, is a 150 degree angle. So let's look at page 153. Let's look at this example right here. If I went from 6:30 to 6:50, we're looking at D. I can go back to this clock and I can use my quick drawing. I'm going from 6:30, so I know at 6:30 my small hand is going to be right here. And then I'm going to 6:50. So I'm just doing my minute hands right now. So I'm going from 30 minutes to 50 minutes. Now, if I want to find what that angle is, I can easily just count. So I'm going from here to here. I know that every time I go between one number is 30 degrees. So 30, 60, 90, 120. So this angle right here is 120 degrees. Another way to look at it is, I know up here I'm at 300 degrees. Down here I'm at 180, so if I do 300 minus 180, I also get 120 degrees. So back on here, from 6:30 to 6:50 is 20 minutes or 120 degrees. Another way to look at it is, well, I know 20 minutes is equivalent to 120 degrees, so I can also just look at it that way. So to complete the rest of this page, you may use this clock to help you. The next thing we're going to look at is lesson 6.6, where we're going to start talking about angles. So you have a full circle protractor on your template. A full circle protractor works for you have to lay it down onto your angle. So on 155, you have to practice measuring these. What I always suggest starting at is the line where your arrow starts. This is your 0 degree line. So when you take your protractor and you line it up with 0 degrees, rotate it 6 times, 0 degrees, right here in the middle. Here's my 0 degrees, and here's where my line is going. So I start at 0, and I start counting, and I figure out what the angle of, what the measurement of this angle is. So your seat work is page 148, 149, and 150. That should be math box 6.6 at the end here. If you finish, you can do division dash, or you can go over and you can grab the angle legs. They're called the angle legs. Angle legs. They're over on the count by the math manipulatives, by the cards and stuff. You can practice making different angles and measuring them with your template and having each other try to figure it out. Good luck.